As we go through this very last group of constellations, we're going to talk about Auriga, Delphinus, and Hydra. So Auriga is, first off, I find it great fun to say because it sounds to me like an old turn of the century, early 1900s car. Auriga, something like that. And that is how you say it. Auriga is supposed to represent a charioteer. And if you watch the old Roman legion kind of movies, they would have people riding chariots. Now, a Roman chariot was a one-wheeled cart that someone would stand up in, and they would hold the reins, and there would be horses out in front pulling said chariot. Auriga is supposed to represent the chest, body, and then the floor of the chariot. But I have heard another story, because these are all based on people interpreting them. One story I heard is that this is supposed to represent the hats that were worn by these charioteers. It's supposed to represent just his five-sided hat. I do not know, and you pick out one that makes sense to you. Auriga is quite visible from the northern latitudes that we live. It is just above Taurus, and it is also not part of the story of Orion chasing the bull and being followed by the dogs, but there is a chariot flying around up there in the near area. Auriga contains a very bright star, and the bright star is called Capella. And I'm sure you've heard the word Capella. Different corporations use it to mean different things, but that's where that word came from. Now, this charioteer is supposed to have, if you go for this version of the story down here, or interpretation of the picture, in one hand he's holding the reins to the horse, and in the other hand he's holding a baby goat. Why is a charioteer holding a baby goat? I don't know. It's a really good question. I don't know. All right, let's talk about a very small constellation, and this is Delphinus. Delphinus is the dolphin. It looks very much like a dolphin, and it occupies a small area of the sky, relatively dim, kind of hard to see without a telescope. It is near some other small constellations, including Sagitta and Aquilus, the young horse, and Sagitta, the arrow. So there are some small little constellations that are up there. It's supposed to represent the good old friendly dolphin with its head and its tail. The mythology says that it was Poseidon's messenger. When Poseidon wanted to send out a message, he'd send a dolphin. That would be cool. I wish I could do that too. We're ending with the largest. The largest constellation in the entire sky is called Hydra the water snake. And Hydra the water snake is very difficult for us to see because it is so far in the southern sky. But it is so incredibly big that if you do get a really good view of the southern sky, sometimes you can see the head of Hydra. Hydra is going to be below Leo and below Virgo the Virgin, and it is a huge, long constellation that snakes between sextans and crux and a whole bunch of other constellations that we just do not see, and we're not going to worry about here in the northern sky. It's associated with many, many serpents, particularly the one that was slain by Hercules somewhere in his mythology. So that should get us through our constellations. That should cover everything you might see when you go out and look at night north of the equator. And I hope you've had a good time learning them.